اللهم صل على محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا علي يا عظيم يا غفور يا رحيم، أنت الرب العظيم الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. وهذا شهر عظمته وكرمته وشرفته وفضلته على الشهور، وهو الشهر الذي فرضت صيامه عليه، وهو شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان، وجعلت فيه ليلة القدر وجعلتها خيرا من 1000 شهر. فيا ذا المن ولا يمن عليك، من علي بفكاك رقبتي من النار، في من تمن علي وادخلني الجنة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم رب شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن وافترضت على عبادك فيه الصيام، صل على محمد وآل محمد وارزقني حج بيتك الحرام في عام هذا وفي كل عام، واغفر لي تلك الذنوب العظام فإنه لا يغفرها غيرك يا رحمن يا علام. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إني أفتتح الثناء بحمدك، وأنت مسدد للصواب بمنك، وأيقنت أنك أنت أرحم الراحمين في موضع العفو والرحمة، وأشد المعاقبين في موضع النكال والنقمة، وأعظم المتجبرين في موضع الكبرياء والعظمة. اللهم أذنت لي في دعائك ومسألتك، فاسمع يا سميع مدحتي، وأجب يا رحيم دعوتي، وأقل يا غفور عثرتي. فكم يا إلهي من كربة قد فرجتها، وهموم قد كشفتها، وعثرة قد أقلتها، ورحمة قد نشرتها، وحلقة بلاء قد فككتها. اللهم الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا، ولم يكن له شريك في الملك، ولم يكن له ولي من الذل، وكبره تكبيرا. الله أكبر. الحمد لله بجميع محامده كلها على جميع نعمه كله. اللهم الحمد لله الذي لا مضاد له في ملكه ولا منازع له في أمره. الحمد لله الذي لا شريك له في خلقه ولا شبيه له في عظمته. الحمد لله الفاشي في الخلق أمره، وحمده الظاهر بالكرم مجده، الباسط بالجود يده، الذي لا تنقص خزائنه ولا تزيده كثرة العطاء إلا جودا وكرمه، إنه هو العزيز الوهاب. اللهم إني أسألك قليلا من كثير، مع حاجة بي إليه عظيمة، وغناك عنه قديم، وهو عندي كثير، وهو عليك سهل يسير. اللهم إن عفوك عن ذنبي، وتجاوزك عن خطيئتي، وصفحك عن ظلمي، وسترك عن قبيح عملي، وحلمك عن كثير جرمي، عندما كان من خطئي وعمدي، أطمعني في أن أسألك ما لا أستوجبه منك، الذي رزقتني من رحمتك، وأريتني من قدرتك، وعرفتني من إجابتك، فصرت أدعوك آمنا وأسألك مستأنسا، لا خائفا ولا وجلا، مدلا عليك فيما قصدت فيه إليك. فإن أبطأ عني عتبت بجهلي عليك، ولعل الذي أبطأ عني هو خير لي لعلمك بعاقبة الأمور. فلم أر مولا كريما أصبر على عبد لئيم منك عليه. يا ربي إنك تدعوني فأولي عنك، وتتحبب إلي وأتبغض إليك، وتتودد إلي فلا أقبل منك، كأن لي التطول عليك، فلم يمنعك ذلك من رحمته ولإحساني إليه والتفضل علي بجودك وكرمك. فارحم عبدك الجاهل وجد عليه بفضل إحسانك، إنك جواد كريم. الحمد لله مالك الملك مجري الفلك مسخر الرياح فالك الإصباح ديان الدين رب العالمين. الحمد لله على حلمه بعد علمه، والحمد لله على عفوه بعد قدرته، والحمد لله على طول أناته في غضبه وهو قادر على ما يريد. الحمد لله خالق الخلق باسط الرزق فالك الإصباح الجلال والإكرام والفضل والإنعام، الذي بعد فلا يرى وقرب فشهد النجوى تبارك وتعالى. الحمد لله الذي ليس له منازع يعادله، ولا شبيه يشاكله، ولا ظهير يعاضده، قهر بعزته الأعزة وتواضع لعظمته العظماء، فبلغ بقدرته ما يشاء. الحمد لله الذي يجيبني حين أناديه، ويستر علي كل عورة وأنا أعصيه، ويعظم النعمة علي فلا أجازيه. فكم من موهبة هنيئة قد أعطاني، وعظيمة مخوفة قد كفاني، وبهجة مونقة قد أراني، فأثني عليه حامدا وأذكر مسبحا. الحمد لله الذي لا يهتك حجابه، ولا يغلق بابه، ولا يرد السائل، ولا يخيب آمله. الحمد لله الذي يؤمن الخائفين وينجي الصالحين ويرفع المستضعفين ويضع المستكبرين ويهلك ملوكا ويستخلف آخرين. والحمد لله قاسم الجبارين مبير الظالمين مدرك الحاربين نكال الظالمين صريخ المستصرخين موضع حاجات الطالبين معتمد المؤمنين. الحمد لله الذي من خشيته ترعد السماء وسكانها، وترجف الأرض وعمارها، وتموج البحار ومن يسبح في غمراتها. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله الذي يخلق ولم يخلق، ويرزق ولا يرزق، ويطعم ولا يطعم، ويميت الأحياء ويحيي الموتى، وهو حي لا يموت بيده الخير، وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وأمينك وصفيك وحبيبك وخيرتك من خلقك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك، أفضل وأحسن وأجمل وأكمل وأزكى وأنمى وأطيب وأطهر وأسنى، وأكثر ما صليت وباركت وترحمت وتحننت وسلمت على أحد من عبادك وأنبيائك ورسلك وصفتك وأهل كرامتي عليك من خلقك. اللهم وصل على علي أمير المؤمنين ووصي رسول رب العالمين، عبدك ووليك وأخي رسولك وحجتي على خلقك وآيتك الكبرى والنبي العظيم. وصل على صديقة الطاهرة فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، وصل على سبطي الرحمة وإمامي الهدى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة، وصل على الأئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي، حججك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم وصل على ولي أمرك القائم المؤمل والعدل المنتظر، وحفه بملائكتك المقربين، وأيده بروح القدس يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعله الداعي إلى كتابك والقائم بدينك، استخلفه في الأرض كما استخلفت الذين من قبله، مكن له دينه الذي ارتضيته له، أبدله من بعد خوفه أمنا، يعبدك لا يشرك بك شيئا. اللهم أعزه وأعزز به، وانصره وانتصر به، وانصره نصرا عزيزا، وافتح له فتحا يسيرا، واجعل له من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. اللهم أظهر به دينك وسنة نبيك، حتى لا يستخفي بشيء من الحق مخافة أحد من الخلق. اللهم إنا نرغب إليك في دولة كريمة تعز بها الإسلام وأهله، وتذل بها النفاق وأهله، وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والقادة إلى سبيلك، وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم ما عرفتنا من الحق فحملنا، وما قصرنا عنه فبلغنا. اللهم المن به شعثنا، واشعب به صدعنا، وارتق به فتقنا، وكثر به قلتنا، واعزز به ذلتنا، وأغني به عائلنا، واقض به عن مغرمنا، واجبر به فقرنا، وسد به خلتنا، ويسر به عسرنا، وبيض به وجوهنا، وفك به أسرنا، وأنجه به طلبتنا، وأنجز به مواعيدنا، واستجب به دعوتنا، وأعطنا به سؤلنا، وبلغنا به من الدنيا والآخرة آمالنا، وأعطنا به فوق رغبتنا، يا خير المسؤولين وأوسع المعطيين. اشفي به صدورنا، وأذهب به غيظ قلوبنا، واهدنا به لما اختلف فيه من الحق بإذنك، إنك تهدي من تشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. وانصرنا به على عدوك وعدونا، إله الحق، آمين. اللهم إنا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا صلواتك عليه وآله، وغيبة ولينا، وكثرة عدونا، وقلة عددنا، وشدة الفتن بنا، وتظاهر الزمان علينا. وصل على محمد وآل محمد، وأعنا على ذلك بفتح منك تعجله، وبضر تكشفه، ونصر تعزه، وسلطان حق تظهره، ورحمة منك تجللناها، وعافية منك تلبسناها، برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم برحمتك في الصالحين فادخلنا، وفي عليين فارفعنا، وبكأس من معين من عين سلسبيل فاسقنا، ومن الحور العين برحمتك فزوجنا، ومن الولدان المخلدين كأنهم لؤلؤا مكنون فأخدمنا، ومن ثمار الجنة واللحوم الطير فأطعمنا، ومن ثياب السندس والحرير والاستبرق فألبسنا، وليلة القدر، وحج بيتك الحرام، وقتلا في سبيلك فوفق لنا، وصالح الدعاء والمسألة فاستجب لنا. وإذا جمعت الأولين والآخرين يوم القيامة فارحمنا، وبراءة من النار فاكتب لنا، وفي جهنم فلا تغلنا، وفي عذابك وهوانك فلا تبتلنا، ومن الزقوم والضريع فلا تطعمنا، ومع الشياطين فلا تجعلنا، وفي النار على وجوهنا فلا تكببنا، ومن ثياب النار وسرابيل القطران فلا تلبسنا، ومن كل سوء يا لا إله إلا أنت، بحق لا إله إلا أنت فنجنا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إني أسألك أن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر من الأمر المحتوم في الأمر الحكيم، من القضاء الذي لا يرد ولا يبدل، أن تكتبني من حجاج بيتك الحرام المبرور حجهم، المشكور سعيهم، المغفور ذنوبهم، المكفر عن سيئاتهم، وأن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر أن تطيل عمري وفي خير وعافية، وتوسع في رزقي، وتجعلني ممن تنتصر به لدينك ولا تستبدل به غيره. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بجلال وجهك الكريم أن ينقضي عني شهر رمضان أو يطلع الفجر من ليلتي هذه ولك قبلي تبعة أو ذنب تعذبني عليه. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إنك قلت في كتابك المنزل شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان، فعظمت حرمة شهر رمضان بما أنزلت فيه من القرآن، وحصسته بليلة القدر وجعلتها خيرا من 1000 شهر. اللهم وهذه أيام شهر رمضان قد انقضت ولياليه قد تصرمت، وقد صرت يا إلهي منه إلى ما أنت أعلم به مني وأحصى لعدده من الخلق أجمعين. أسألك بما سألك به ملائكتك المقربين وأنبياؤك المرسلين وعبادك الصالحين أن تصلي على محمد وآل محمد، وأن تفك رقبتي من النار وتدخلني الجنة برحمتك، وأن تتفضل علي بعفوك وكرمك، وتتقبل تقربي وتستجيب دعائي، وتمن علي بالأمن يوم الخوف من كل هول أعددته ليوم القيامة. إلهي وأعوذ بوجهك الكريم وبجلالك العظيم أن ينقضي أيام شهر رمضان ولياليه ولك قبلي تبعة أو ذنب تؤاخذني به أو خطيئة تريد أن تقتصها مني لم تغفرها لي. سيدي سيدي سيدي، أسألك يا لا إله إلا أنت، إذ لا إله إلا أنت، إن كنت رضيت عني في هذا الشهر فازدد عني رضا، وإن لم تكن رضيت عني فمن الآن فارض عنه. يا أرحم الراحمين، يا الله يا أحد يا صمد، يا من لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد، يا من لين الحديد لداود عليه السلام، يا كاشف الضر والكرب العظام عن أيوب عليه السلام، أي مفرج هم يعقوب عليه السلام، أي منفس غم يوسف عليه السلام. صل على محمد وآل محمد كما أنت أهل أن تصلي عليهم أجمعين، وافعل بما أنت أهله ولا تفعل بما أنا أهله. يا ملين الحديد لداود عليه السلام، يا كاشف الضر والكرب العظام عن أيوب عليه السلام، أي مفرج هم يعقوب عليه السلام، أي منفس غم يوسف عليه السلام. صل على محمد وآل محمد كما أنت أهله أن تصلي عليهم أجمعين، وافعل بما أنت أهله ولا تفعل بما أنا أهله. يا ملين الحديد لداود عليه السلام، يا كاشف الضر والكرب العظام عن أيوب عليه السلام، أي مفرج هم يعقوب عليه السلام، أي منفس غم يوسف عليه السلام. صل على محمد وآل محمد كما أنت أهله أن تصلي عليهم أجمعين، وافعل بما أنت أهله ولا تفعل بما أنا أهله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا مكور الليل على النهار ويا مكور النهار على الليل، يا عليم يا حكيم يا رب الأرباب وسيد السادات، لا إله إلا أنت، يا أقرب إلي من حبل الوريد. يا الله يا الله يا الله، لك الأسماء الحسنى والأمثال العليا والكبرياء والآلاء. أسألك أن تصلي على محمد وآل محمد، وأن تجعل اسمي في هذه الليلة في السعداء، وروحي مع الشهداء، وإحساني في عليين، وإساءتي مغفورة، وأن تهب لي يقينا تباشر به قلبي، وإيمانا يذهب الشك عني، وترضيني بما قسمت لي. وآتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار، وارزقني فيها ذكرك وشكرك والرغبة إليك وإنابة والتوبة والتوفيق لما وقفت له. محمد وآل محمد عليه وعليهم السلام.
الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغ مدحته القائلون ولا يحصي نعماءه العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون. ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، سيدنا ونبينا وشفيع ذنوبنا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من يومنا هذا إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وهو أصدق القائلين: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الدين عند الله الإسلام، آمنا بالله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات. اللهم صل. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Alhamdulillah, all praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for granting us the opportunity to be present and observe the holy month of Ramadan. Right from the first night till today, 29th of Ramadan, 30th night or the first night of Shawwal, we have been gathering here And mashallah, mu'mineen and mu'minat, all of us have worked hard to just make these programs go successful. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward all those who have put their time and efforts in making sure that these programs take place in that center. This is our first Ramadan in this center. Inshallah, we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may Allah give us tawfiq for many more Ramadan in this Al-Zahra Shia Association of Kitchener, inshallah. As you know that today is either 30th night or the first night of Shawwal. Later, inshallah, after Iftar, we will come to know about sighting of moon or not. What we know that so far as the East is concerned, Asia, Africa, Iraq, Iran, Middle East, the moon was not sighted there this evening. But there are very much chances that moon will be sighted in America. And then, of course, because of that, because we are so near, it may be declared. But we'll come to know, inshallah, later on. In any case, I will discuss a few things about this night of Eid al-Fitr. You know, it is a very important night. The Prophet, Hazrat Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Said Allah pours down al-khair in abundance on 4 nights. There are 4 nights Allah pours down. Pours down is, that means, for example, when you say rain is coming, right? The way, for example, a lot of rain comes, it pours down. So Allah, Prophet uses this word. He says, Allah pours down al-khair, good. And by saying al-khair, He is not confiding. All kind of good we can think of. Allah pours down the good abundance on 4 nights. The night of Eid al-Adha, the night of Eid al-Fitr, right? And these are some of the 2 nights and also other nights. So this is important that we should keep in mind that this is one of the 2 nights when the khair is being poured down to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Mawla Amir Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Allahumma salli ala. He says, if you can preserve the importance of the nights of Fitr and Nahr, then do so. Now, say a lot of supplication. Imam is saying, try to preserve. Preserve how? How do we preserve, for example? It is a night which comes and goes. What can we do to preserve? For example, sometimes if I give you a pen or money, say, take care of it. So, okay, you will take care of it by putting in your pocket or keeping it in a safe place. But how do we preserve the night of Al-Adha and Fitr? Imam says, do so. Then do so. Say a lot of supplications, prayers, and recitation of the Quran. So again, we have been keeping awake and sleeping late nights, I realize, but one more night. In fact, some of the hadith says that everything we have done, this is the night when now we are waiting to be rewarded. So you can see, if you would like to achieve the reward of your efforts, of your prayers, of your fasting, of your charity, of your amal, of your volunteering, all those things which you are doing, right? If you like to achieve the reward, this is the night. See, this is the night, and to also keep in mind that if not the whole night, at least some of the night, try to spend in dua, in dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in prayers, right? Again, the 6th Imam Jafar Sadiq salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, he has clearly mentioned, he says that the night of Fitr is the night of receiving in full reward of the laborer. So when a person works hard, right? When a laborer works, for example, now he's waiting that when will I be paid for my efforts? So Imam says the night of Fitr is the night of receiving in full the reward of the laborer. We are the laborer. We have been fasting. We have been praying Quran. We have been reciting munajat. We have been doing istighfar. We have been praying, saying salat. We have been reciting du'as and munajat and giving charity, right? The entire month we have been preoccupied in those good things. So this is the night whereby to receive the reward for that. And that's why mu'mineen try. Now, if you cannot keep the entire night awake, part of the night, but at least once we go from here and after in case of the night of Eid is there, if you do, for example, amal, and then try to go home and try to even do some kind of dua and zikr, right? Again, in a hadith, Fiqh Rida, it says, put efforts in spending the night of Fitr in supplications and keeping awake. You can see ihya and dua and ihya. And of course, there are beautiful duas. Dua Joshan Kabi, Dua Abu Hamza Somali, right? Any of the duas you like, you can recite this thing. Keep in mind the duas found in Sahifa Sajadiyah. We discussed about Sahifa Sajadiyah a few days ago, that how many duas are there. These are the best of duas. The duas found in Sahifa Sajadiyah are the best of duas. Sheikh Abbas Kumi, rahmatullah alayhi, a great scholar, who has compiled Mafatul Jinan, right? Every Shia house has the book Mafatul Jinan, because it's the book of dua, right? He himself says, something very interesting. He says, if Allah blesses you to go to Karbala for ziyarat, then try to pray under the kubba of Imam Hussain, the dome of Imam Hussain. Try to pray there. Why? Because du'as get accepted. Then he says something quite interesting. He says, recite the best of the du'as. He could have said, for example, this dua in Mafati, this dua in Mafati, because even the du'as in Mafati are not composed by Sheikh Abbas Kumi. Sheikh Abbas has just compiled. Compiled, that means he's gathered. He has gathered the du'as of different Masumi, of different occasions, dua for Rajab, dua for Shaban, dua for different months, right? He has different occasions. He has done that. The du'as in the Mafati are from the Masumin. He could have said that you go to Mafatul Jinan and recite this dua, recite this dua, recite this amal. No, he says recite the best of the du'as. Then he says the du'as which are found in Sahifa Sajadiyah. Are you with me? So, for example, in Sahifa Sajadiyah, there's a dua number 45 to bid farewell month of Ramadan. It's a beautiful dua. Mu'mineen, when you get chance, you go home, either recite it yourself, or you can even put on YouTube and keep the dua book in front of you and try to recite. You can just follow any reciter. If you just write dua to bid fair the month of Ramadan, or dua 45 of Sahifa, if you just search in YouTube, you'll get different reciters. Whichever reciter you are familiar with, you can listen to that reciter and keep the dua book open, so you can also recite with that. You know? It's very important that we do this. And so these are very important, and that's why this is a book known as Fiqh Rida. And the hadiths in this book are from the 8th Imam. He says, put efforts in spending the night of Fitr in supplications and keeping awake. So whatever we can do, this is important about the night of Fitr. It is also mustahab to perform ghusl on the night of Eid al-Fitr. So let's say that once we go out from here and we are told that the moon has been sighted, you can do ghusl at the night, just with that. It's mustahab. Includes the physical hadith, bath of the body, and also spiritual bath, purifying the heart from sins. Yeah. This ghusl, what is the symbolism? Let's say that you took a shower, right, before coming here, or in the morning. Before you went to work, you took a shower, or you took a shower before coming here. Then why should we do ghusl? What is the significance? So the scholars tell us, one is, of course, the physical cleaning, in case if, let's say, a person had not taken a shower. But the other thing is also spiritual purifying of hearts from sins. We have fasted the entire month. Even then, there may be some kind of sins remaining. Maybe some kind of things are remaining. So we get cleared by doing this ghusl. Because when you do ghusl, it's not just physical bath. It is also the cleaning of the soul. That's why we do the niyat, and we do ghusl in a particular form, right? Because we are also cleaning the soul. So keep this in mind. If it is known that it is indeed the night of Eid, then the ghusl is performed before sunset. You can also be performed before sunset, right? And it has also been narrated that the ghusl should be taken at the end of the night of Eid. No, just even later on at the night. Right? The Prophet says, one who recites 2 rakat prayers on the night of Fitr, such that in the first rakat, a person says Surah Al-Hamd, followed by 1,000 times Surah Tawheed. So this is it, you can see, right? Even if you do the amal, we won't recite this thing. Because when we do the amal in public, we are supposed to take care of everybody. There are women who come for children. There are people, for example, who might have other commitments. So if you keep your public programs very long, people will not return. People will come today, but next time they won't come. So keep in mind that when it comes to programming, always try to make it mukhtasar. Try to make it minimum. Okay? The things are for home. Even the imam who recites namaz jamaat is supposed to make sure that they do it quicker. You'll see that after Maghrib, I immediately say my Isha or Nafila namaz. After that, although the better thing is to do tasbih. After Maghrib, the best thing is to recite tasbih. But you see me, no, I don't do tasbih, I recite namaz. Why? Because you people are doing tasbih, I don't want to delay you. So whilst you are doing it to tasbih, I'm doing my namaz and I can do my tasbih later on. So I don't want to delay you. It is important for the imam also not to delay the mamumeen, and it's also important for the program organizers to not have long programs. Otherwise, people will not stay. No, they will come once, twice, they will not attend. And that's not the purpose. The purpose is we would like to attend, many people attend this thing, okay? So there's a namaz which is Surah Al-Ham recite 1,000 times Surah Al-Tawheed, okay? In the second rakah, Surah Al-Ham, and 1 time Surah Al-Tawheed. So when we do the amal, we may be only reciting 10 times only, just because we are doing it in congregation. But when you go home, if you decide to do amal this evening, stay awake for some time, this is something you should do. Take tasbih in your hand, recite Surah Al-Ham, and then after that, a tasbih has 100 beads, so 10 tasbih of Surah Qul Ahad. And again, let me tell you the secret. I said the first night. Whenever it comes to sunnat amal, right? If you can't do everything, don't leave everything. This is the principle. If you can't do everything, don't leave everything. Okay? So for example, nafila of Zohr is 8 rakat. You don't have time to recite 8 rakat. Recite 6 rakat, 3 namaz. You can't do 6 rakat. Recite 4 rakat, 2 namaz. You can't recite 6 namaz, recite 2 rakat. So in the same way, for example, that you want to do this amal, 1,000 is too much. Let's say, for example, although it's not too much, honestly, it can be done. But just for argument's sake, that maybe you are tired, maybe you want to rest, so tomorrow you're going to go for namaz and then also go for work, right? Everything, people have different kind of commitments. Or you're just tired. Or maybe your heart is not ready to undertake a long amal. There's a hadith which clearly says that sometimes the heart is ready to take it, sometimes the heart is not. Sometimes the heart, Imam Ali says, that sometimes you'll find that your heart is such that it is ready to undergo through a lot of dua, dhikr, and recitation of Quran. Then do it. But sometimes your hearts are not ready for that. Then just confine to wajibat. Are you with me? So keep this in mind. So the hadith says that you recite 2 rakat namaz, after Surah Al-Ham recite 1,000 times Surah Tawheed. You can't do that, for example. Recite 900 times. You can't do that. Recite 100 times. You can't do that. Just recite 100 times. That's fine. Even 100 times. At least what we have done, that we have done the amal, is after Surah Al-Ham, recite 100 times Surah Tawheed, right? In the second rakat after Surah Al-Ham, recite only 1 Surah Tawheed. So this is the special namaz for the night of Eid al-Fitr, and which should be done individually at home. Now, we don't need to do in Jamaat here and delay everybody, right? And then after that, once that, Prophet says that Allah will grant him whatever he asks for. After this namaz, Allah will give you whatever you ask for, Prophet says. According to Al-Kafi, according to Hadith Al-Kafi, it was practice of the Mu'mineen to recite this prayer on the night of Fitr. Al-Kafi says that Imam Ali was the one who used to recite this namaz. Keep in mind that Imam Ali had a very good practice. Any ayat of Quran or revealed, he'll be the first one to follow it. If any hadith Prophet would say, he'll be the first one. Always. He would do sabakat. Right? You see Quran says in Surah Al-Waqiyah, وَالسَّابِكُونَ السَّابِكُونَ أُولَٰئِكَ الْمُقَرَّبُونَ, right? وَالسَّابِكُونَ السَّابِكُونَ, those who are foremost in doing good acts, they are the foremost, right? أُولَٰئِكَ الْمُقَرَّبُونَ, these are the ones who are near to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that was one of the best habits of Imam Ali. Remember, in one of the nights, during the first 4 nights, remember Imam Ali, I said there's an ayat which came about Najwa, that Prophet, Allah said that whoever would like to go and talk to the Prophet in person, they are supposed to give sadaqah. Imam Ali gave 1 golden dinar as a sadaqah and went to have a personal audience with Rasulullah. And after that, that ayat was abrogated, right? So he was the only one who followed that ayat. But the message that he did sabakat, he was the first one. So he was the one, when Prophet said this thing, every night of Eid al-Fitr, Imam Ali would recite 2 rakat namaz. After Surah Al-Ham, recite 1,000 times Surah Al-Ahad in the first rakat, in the second rakat, once now. So whatever you can do that. Also, the 6th Imam says, whoever visits the grave of Imam Hussein on 3 nights, Allah forgives his past and future sins. Which are these 3 nights? Abdul Rahman Hajjaj asked the Imam. Imam said the night of Fitr, the night of Al-Adha, and the middle of Shaban, Nime Shaban. But we are far from Karbala. So what we'll do, inshallah, if we have the amal today, we recite the ziyarat, the short ziyarat of Imam Hussein from far. So that is another thing. That those of you, for example, if you don't stay for the amal today, after iftar, if you decide to leave, so you can recite that the namaz, as I told you, and also recite the ziyarat of Imam. One ziyarat, for example, if you don't know which ziyarat to recite, there is the ziyarat which is known as ziyarat mutlaq. Mutlaq, that means it is a generic ziyarat. can be recited under all the occasion. And there's a ziyat which is called ziyat waris. We call it waritha, is not correct, it's warith, ziyat warith. No, assalamu alayka warisa adam safatillah, because it is warisa. But in Arabic, always you pause with sakin. For example, your name is Muhammadun, but you don't say Muhammad, you say your name is Muhammad, right? Somebody's name is Aliyun, but we say Ali, right? We pause with sakin. In the same way, it is waritha, but we pause with waris. So ziyat waris is a ziyat mutlaq ziyarat. It's a generic ziyat from Imam Hussain. You can recite on any occasion. So if you, for example, let's say you decide you want to go home and you want to rest, what you can do, just as you are driving, let's switch on the ziyat waris, right? Make sure, of course, take care of driving when you are driving, but just listen to the ziyarat and follow with it. That is also fine. These are sunnat amal. Keep in mind, there are no hard and fast rules about this thing. Whole idea is that we participate in these actions. So this is another thing which is supposed to be recited, the sixth Imam says. If we recite Ziyat Hussain from far, that is also good. The Prophet said, he who keeps awake on the night of Eid, his heart will not die on the day when the hearts of others will die. Subhanallah. This is Tahzibul Ahkam. A person who keeps awake on the night of Eid, and this is known as Ihya, then his hearts will not die when other people's heart will die. On account of this, you can imagine. The Prophet also says, he who keeps awake on the nights of two Eids, Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha, expecting reward from Allah, his heart would not die on the day when the hearts of others die, right? You can see again the same hadith appears that if we keep awake. So as we say that if we cannot do that, at least whatever you can do, try to do some of these amal. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Since it may even be the night of Fitr today, so I thought I'll just briefly discuss about Zakatul Fitrah. Zakatul Fitrah, you should know, is wajib. It is said that for your fast to be accepted, the sixth Imam says, for your fast to be accepted, you give zakat, and this is Zakatul Fitrah. Okay, it is important. And it becomes wajib, obligatory, after the sunset. So, of course, the moment azan is given, just now the sunset is already there. We can even give now, but we are not sure whether the moon will be sighted or not. So once we get the news that moon has been sighted, then we can give even zakat now, fitrah money now also. We can do that, right? And it should be done till the time, or if you, for example, are at home, people are listening, for example, if you're at home, then what you should do, just keep aside. Let's say that you are at home, you could not come to masjid, right? Or there is no way we can, for example, do this thing. Then just keep aside that this is my zakat for myself and my family. Keep it aside, but it must be given by immediately after Eid al-Fitr. Maximum, Agha says, Ayatollah Sistani, if you still delay, then at least by Zuhr time, the mustahiqeen should receive their zakat. Okay, so it's important. If you are sending it to Pakistan, to India, to Lebanon, to other places, then you should give the instructions that by this time it must be given. For example, the moment you can say, okay, once you receive my text message, once here the moon is sighted, I'll text you and please give. So make sure that these are given to this thing. Zakatul Fitrah will be given by the person who is the head of the family. Okay, so head of the family, he will give. If you are the head of the family, you will give on behalf of yourself and on behalf of everybody whom you support. Even that person who you are supporting is not at home. Let's say you are supporting your son, but he's studying in Washington. You are supporting your daughter, she is, for example, in New York. Still, if you are supporting, you will give Zakatul Fitrah on behalf of yourself and on behalf of your people who are dependent on you. If somebody is so poor, may Allah remove them from the poverty. If somebody is so poor that cannot afford to give zakat of every member of the family, then he will take out the first zakat, right? And because, let's say, for example, God forbid, let's say if my family, I have got 5 members, as an example, right? And I cannot afford to give zakat, fitrah for 5 people. I can give only 1 people. So I will take my zakat, right, and then give it to my wife as a gift. Because since we cannot afford that, she can receive that as a gift. And then she will again give out as a fitrah to the daughter, right, eldest daughter. And the eldest daughter will give to another daughter, and then another son, right, that will pass over. And then finally the zakat will be given to somebody outside. This is for people who cannot afford, right? Keep that in mind. No? Okay, maybe some of you might have given zakat al-fitr in advance. You might have sent to Africa, you might have sent it to India or Pakistan. This is allowed. But keep in mind that the niyat should be done only after the moon is sighted. So you can give zakat, you can send your zakat earlier, but that will be given as a loan to mustahikin in Pakistan, in India, in Africa, in Lebanon, wherever you are sending, that will go as a loan, temporary loan. The moment, for example, we receive the news about the sighting of moon, at that time you do the niyat that I'm taking out zakat al-fitra on behalf of myself and my family, wajib Allah, and then you can send the text to that person that now that is yours, right? You can change the niyat of the loan into zakat al-fitra. It is very important that you give zakat al-fitra to people who are needy in this city. Okay, so it is important that zakat is given within the city. You have to find ways of people who are needy first in this city. Only when you don't have mu'mineen who are needy in this city, only then you will give it to, you'll send outside the city. So keep this in mind. In fact, the fatwa says that if there's a needy in this town, if I send the fitra money outside, in the process, if it gets lost, I have to pay again. But if there was no needy in this town, and you decided to send the money overseas, and maybe in the process it got lost, it's fine, you don't have to pay again because you already have given, unfortunately, in the way it got lost. So it is important that we give zakat al-fitra to those who are needy in this city. Okay. Can you give your zakat to the Jamaat, for example, or any administration? Yes, we can. If you trust your organization, you can give them zakat and they will make the due arrangements to distribute to the needy. So it's a matter of just trust. That, for example, once you give it into this box and you trust the management, that's your bari zimma. You already fulfill your duty. Okay, keep that in mind. The only thing is that if a person is Sayyid, his zakat al-fitra can be given to anybody. Keep in mind, all those who are Sayyid, Razavi or Nakavi or whatever you're Sayyid or Zaidi, right? If you are Sayyid, you can give your zakat al-fitra to the needy Sayyid and needy non-Sayyid. But a non-Sayyid like me, I'm not a Sayyid, right? My zakat al-fitra cannot be given to Sayyid, needy Sayyid. So my zakat al-fitra will be only given to the needy who is non-Sayyid. Non-Sayyid, keep that in mind. But the zakat al-fitra of a Sayyid can be given to anybody. Okay? So keep that in mind, that the zakat al-fitra of Sayyid can be given to any. It does not mean that only to be given to Sayyid. Okay? Any needy person can be given the zakat al-fitra. So these are some of the things, and of course, what is it? It is just 3 kilograms of staple food or the cash value of it, which can be, for example, Jamaat has decided $10, some Jamaat have decided $12, whatever they might have think, because it is nowadays, because of COVID, things have become expensive. So they think that, for example, 1 kilogram of staple food may be $4. So that becomes $12. So, but some of them have decided $10. Whatever the Jamaat has decided, I'm sure they've done their homework. They must have checked, for example, what is the cost of staple food, right? And you do the zakat, right? So these are just basic masails of zakat al-fitra. I hope I've covered everything. Still, we have about 3-4 minutes if anybody has a question regarding zakat al-fitra. If anybody has a question, because the namaz time is, I think, 8:40, right? Is that correct? Namaz time is 8:40 or about 8:40, yeah. Anybody has any question regarding zakat al-fitra? Any clarifications? Okay. In that case, alhamdulillah, I think I've covered the most important points. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may Allah give us tawfiq, that may Allah accept our fast since we have been fasting from first day of Ramadan. Ya Allah, if it is decided that this is the first night of Shawwal and the night of Eid, then you accept our fast and all we have performed. Ya Allah, we know that our fast, our prayers, our charity, our deeds, our volunteering, all those things was not perfect. So Ya Allah, if there are any kind of shortcomings, please forgive us and overlook that. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in case if this is not the night of Eid al-Fitr, then it's the last night of Ramadan, don't try to take it as a burden, please. Don't say, oh, one more, don't do that like that, please. This is also, in fact, an opportunity. Who knows when we'll get, right? It's an opportunity to fast and still spend the time in the ibadat. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, Ya Allah, those mu'mineen who are suffering in Afghanistan, in Bahrain, in Kashmir, in Syria, in Yemen, right, in Palestine, in other places you can see in Nigeria, those are suffering. Ya Allah, relieve them of the difficulties. Ya Allah, we pray to you that those of us who are sick, give them complete and quick recovery. Ya Allah, those of us who are in debt, Ya Allah, make it easier that you increase the risk that they are able to pay their debt. Ya Allah, we pray to you to the happiness, Hassan, the appearance of 12th Imam Sarzman, Ajalla Faraja. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة